Hello, and welcome to my shed. That's enough. Heat is on. Beverage at the best Scots beverage, apart from whiskey. Yes, none of that ties of shite. Anyway, we are in the shed. Got the bottom bodywork off Phyllis, and basically what I'm going to attempt to do today, there's a good chance I'll get all of it done today, is to swap this little cylinder head for a new cylinder head, which is in my other shed. The head is in the shed. This is your I'm going to give you a little walkabout now, oh you lucky people, of basically what is a generic air-cooled single cylinder, what would you call it, a Far Eastern engine. Yes. Basically, you'll see when I take the covers off and stuff, but 2-valve overhead cam air-cooled single cylinder. This one is approximately 9 horsepower, or at least it was when it was new. So you've got your crankcase in there with all the spinny bits, and the spinny bits that make the back spinny bit go. Told you it was technical. Oh, I'm not holding back. Basically, they're all pretty generic. They are all pretty genetic. This, I don't know what came out first actually, the Honda Innova or this, but basically they're the same. Whoa, fuck! Start that well, didn't you, Jim? Alright, we'll have to do a take 2 on that one. They're all basically, they follow the same pattern, I do believe. Yamaha make one similar. Honda Innova and Wave are extremely similar. But this is a 125. This is the first Suzuki address. The model year after, this is a 2009, I believe. The model year afterwards they went to the fully automatic scooter, normal scooter styling. This is what's called an underbone because the chassis goes like this. GPZ 900s, remember, were top spine because the chassis went like that. So it's all, the style is named after the chassis usually, that Shirley Bass's. So in here, these are inspection covers. You've got one there, you remove, and one there. You can then turn the crank on a nut through there and get your top dead centre. That's where we need it ideally. It can be in any position, to be honest, as long as you know to set everything before you start finalising all your gubbins. You're okay, but we're going to set to top dead centre, which means both the valves should then be closed. It doesn't matter whether it's on a compression stroke or not, ideally yes, but this has got an automatic decompressor, so it's got a habit of sort of getting there and then going but yeah, dead easy, simple engines. Like I say, single cylinder, air cooled. This one is fuel oleum injected. Usually there's an air box here. I removed it because it was very restrictive. This is your crankcase breather, and I've just put a little filter on the end. If we walk around the other side of the machine, yeah, ignore that. Here we go. I put a cone filter on and it breathes loads better, picks up loads quicker in relative terms, obviously. But this one is fitted with fuel oleum injection. Now she's coated in ACF 50, so she looks grubby and dirty, but it's ACF 50, so it's all good. Single spark. I don't think there's any twin spark single cylinders of this kind of design, but should be quite easy. This is the inlet manifold, and in the inlet manifold on this we have an electronic throttle body, which has got it's got still activated by cables, throttle position sensor. There'll be an airflow sensor, so that'll be probably throttle position because it's the big one, and that's probably airflow more than likely. And then we've got the combined fuel pump and injector just there going into the common manifold. Now, a potential issue I'm going to run into with the 150 from some of the people I've read that have fitted them is that they thought the fueling was way off with the 150. It had no pull and all this lot. It's a 150. I mean, some of these people had great big motorbikes as well. Compared to a great big motorbike, this is never going to have pull. But the idea behind fitting the 150 is that I just get a little bit more torque and hopefully just pull the gear better, so I can basically keep with modern traffic. In a lot of roads she's okay, but she's lacking in some areas, but not looks, because she's beautiful. So that's the big difference between this engine and a lot of the others. This one's injected with the throttle body. If need be, if we need to go to carb, it's not a big issue. We've already got the cables there. I doubt they'll require much jiggery buggery, but we can just get a generic intake and a generic carburettor. I mean, on a lot of these you can get intakes that you can dial in, and you can have them any direction you like. So that's something else to consider. The other thing to consider is, I don't think the other cylinder head has the mounting points for the lower bodywork, but we can probably work something out with that. If it clears out, I mean, we could always fabricate a U joint to sit in the fairing. It's only got to support it, really. The other thing is, this is the engine temperature sensor, cylinder head temperature sensor, familiar, found in aircraft as well, and that basically tells the fuel injection computer the temperature of the engine. It's a very dumb system, because obviously it's air cooled. In a water cooled bike with fuel injection, you will have a sensor that sits in the coolant passage, and that's monitoring the temperature of the coolant. This is monitoring the temperature of the cylinder head. When Phyllis starts up, she goes on a natural fast idle, not for long, probably a minute if it's really cold, usually a lot less, and then everything's calmed down to an idle. You can adjust the idle on these. It's got a throttle wheel the other side, and you can adjust the idle like you can on a normal bike. But yeah, that's something I've got to consider. I may have to just drill and tap somewhere into the cylinder, just so I can get that sensor in. It should be fine to put anywhere, because I don't think it's in an oil passageway or anything like that. I think it literally just goes into the cylinder head, literally. So the job's now, we're going to have to start stripping all this gubbins off. The wheel will need to be turned, or the mud guard removed. It's easier to just undo the clamp, turn the wheel. She's on main stand. For removalation of the valving areas. Oh, hang on. Oh, first one of the morning. Nice. Sounded like I treaded on Donald Duck. Our idol, we worship you. Yeah, if you're not on the site, you're really not going to understand that. So yeah, what we've got to do: drop the exhaust, just drop it out of the way. Just get it so I can move it out of the way, because this being injection has an O2 sensor. It's easy enough just to drop the exhaust. All the sensors and stuff, they all unplug up here anyway. I can get to them if I need to unplug them and completely removificate them. Obviously, throttle body's got to come off. The fuel pump and injector are also the fuel cut-off. But my idea is, I'm going to split the throttle body from the inlet housing, so I can move the throttle body out of the way, probably over there. I'm going to disconnect the sensors as well, and then I can remove the manifold, because that will have to go on the new cylinder head, and that can just come over here, just so that area is clear of my hand. Obviously, plug lead pop out. We can leave the plug in. We don't need to touch the cylinder head thing, cylinder head, valve head, whatever you want to call it. I suppose that's cylinder head. Yeah, okay, we'll get there. But what I might do while it's off is just recheck the valve lash, the clearances. Walking round into the path of the heater, because it's lovely. This side, obviously, you've got your inlet and exhaust valve covers. This is your timing cover. And when we take that off, you'll see the gear wheel with the timing chain on it. The timing chain goes from a little gear in the crank here, and it goes up here. There's a few marks we've got to line up, and we're going to paint mark them too, because ideally if it all goes back in the same place, timing should be alright. I got it 180 degrees out last time, but it's not a biggie to change it, but you know, do it right first time. And then the chain sits on a couple of guides. There's one that just sits in the cylinder, and there's another one up here that sits on this pivot, and that's the tensioner that acts upon it. We will be taking the tensioner out and using it on the new one, so I might have to actually take this bit out and give me some good access down there. I'll let a bit more light in as well. But these I hate screws on motorbikes. Well, actually I quite like a screw on a motorbike. It's been a long time. Anyway, but because once they start to muller, they are the God's own bastard to get out. I would like to replace them with bolts and stuff like that, but haven't got around to it yet because I'm a lazy arse. Anyway, I'm going to start fluffulating, and then I'll bring you back when I'm a little bit further along.
A few moments later.
Right, I'm starting the strip down, but what I'm doing is I'm just going around all the nuts and bolts I can get to, and I'm just pre-loosening them. Quite often I'll crack them with the socket and take them out with the spanner, or vice versa. I'll always manually crack them off before I get any power toolage or anything like that. And we don't really need power toolage today, but the old electric ratification, if you ain't got one of these, buy one. They're only like, I think this was between 14 and 20 quid on eBay. It's generic, it goes under 6 million brand names. Only thing you got to watch is the battery. I've had to resolder the terminals on the battery, because if you over torque, it sort of melts the solder on the battery. It sounds way worse than what it is, but you know, a blob of solder cures it. But many of them come with 2 or 3 batteries, and they're just brilliant. This one's quite low on charge. I've got a fully charged battery, but they just take all the out of it. They're way quicker than I can't believe this, doing it by hand. You know all about that, don't you, Jim? Anyway, no such thing as a bad one. So I've pre-loosened tensioner, I have pre-loosened timing cover, I have pre-loosened the exhaust. Jim, stop saying pre-loosened, you only need to fucking say it once. And I'm just in the process of loosening up the intake and what have you, and then we'll be there. I was considering setting the camera up and showing you removing the bolt. Actually, I could do a montage. There's gonna be a montage. So I might do that. I might rig the camera up. But all you're basically going to see is me undoing... Jim, shut up. intaculation off. The exhaust has been loosened. I've just got to undo the O2 sensor. Its connector is proving to be a slippy little sod, because when I take a bike apart and stuff like that, I put dielectric grease in a lot of the connectors, which saves loads of corrosion hassle further down the line if you're going to use it all year round. Highly recommend you do it. Don't believe the bullshit you see on the internet where they say, oh, dielectric grease actually kills the electrical conductor. It doesn't. It helps. It's why it was invented. Stops corrosion. It doesn't impede any sort of electrical flow to any sort of state that we're worried about. The loom and everything, that's all been tucked away. Everything sits neatly on the top. One thing you've got to be very careful for on the intakes and stuff is make sure you don't lose the O-rings, because there's one either side of the intake, there's one on the back of the throttle body. If you miss that O-ring out, the bike will run like shite, and you'll be chasing carburation and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, just double check you've got your O-ring. Best way to do it, put a little bit of grease around it, a little bit of rubber grease, red rubber grease like you get in your brake caliper kits, and just put that in. It'll hold the O-ring long enough for you to get it sorted. I'm going to pre-crack the head bolts, get this cover off, get that off. If only I could find a way so you could see. You got a tripod, Jim. Shut the fuck up.
12 seconds later.
I'm just cleaning me nuts. Don't forget your manifold spacer with an O-ring. Right, stop talking like a twat and get these head bolts cracked. Just slightly, just start. Big one. I hate it when they do that slippy thing. Anyway, right. What have we got? Here we go. Let's get the covers off. You fuck off back up there, will you? That's it now. Now, there may be a little oil drop. In fact, I can almost guarantee it. And I've left my collection bucket the other side. So let's go and put that down first, shall we? Yes. Come on, Jim, get organised. You are. Okay, now. Oh, lovely. Absolutely splendid. Hello everybody, I'm back. Right. Nice. And I don't know if you can see, probably. There we go. This is your decompression gear in here, which is this flat. I don't know what it does, to be honest. What we're looking for is, I do believe that's the mark. We might actually be close to top dead centre, but there is a corresponding little, you can just see it, little nick there. I'm going to put a little paint dot there, but there, I think when that dot is there, we are at top dead centre. But I'm just going to have a look at the quick look at the manual. Now the chain looks a little bit slacky wacky because I have started to undo the tensione R, so don't worry about there's a bit of a slack chain. So right, we'll carry on. Get these two out. Yes. Okay, there's your little nut. I think it's either a 15 or a 17. I've got an idea it's a 17, and that's what we're going to turn the crankle shaft with. I'm going to put a little mark there, and I've yet to look at the menu. But the menu, Jesus, Jim, it's always food, you fat git. This is the port window where you won't be able to see, but that's where we get our mark. And there is actually one for firing and one for top dead centre, I do believe. I've got the manual up on the shelf there, look, all ready and waiting to be ignored. So yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to mark that first so I can see it better. Nice. Well, it goes all the way in. If you look at the side, you're not going to miss it, but you know, I'm looking square on. You can't really see it, Brian. Yes. To you because of the camera angle, but that white dot is basically top dead centre. I've got top dead centre on the mark there. I don't know whether you can see, probably not, but that is top dead centre, so we're going for that. But we know that the dot is the exact opposite, which is fine as long as it's there or there, as long as that all goes back the same way. Photograph. We shouldn't have any issues. This gear wheel is obviously bolted to the shaft of camage, which is behind there. It's a tiny little cam, runs in a bearing, but I'll show you all that when I take the head off. So I'm going to crack on with that now. Yes. Just took the tensioner out and it is orientated. There's a little nibbly nobble there, which orientates it. It's in good nick, hardly any wear on it. And to reset it, you push it in, and then there's a little locking screw in there, a little flathead, and you push it in, tween it, and that locks it ready for reinstallation. I do have a new gasket. We've got new gaskets all round, so that's all good. We'll put him out of the way somewhere. We'll put him on the cover for this. And then the next thing I've got to do is I've got to take this automatic decompression gear off. And what I'm probably going to do is probably leave that guide chain on and pull it off with that upper guide chain on. So yeah, guide chain, you know what I mean, don't you? A guide, basically. Yeah, Jim, there was no need to say chain. Anyway, I'm going to crack on, and then I'll bring you back when I'm a little bit further. It's going all right. I've got the covers off. There's your little, that's your little inlet valvey tappy gubbins, and your other ones there. You will lose a bit of oil when you take the covers off. I'm going to put these covers and stuff in the aqua jiggler and give them a bloody good clean. We'll degrease all this before we'll put it back on. Anyway, it's going alarmingly well, because if you've ever worked with anybody that's done nights, or you do nights yourself, you know that towards the end of the week you can start getting a little bit tetchy, a little bit bitey, no room for bullshit sort of thing. Which I'm going extraordinarily well because I've only so far told one bolt to fuck off and 2 electrical connectors. So we're doing alright. Red, it's actually ready to come off. Because I do believe that I have actually undone everything, which would be a miracle. Yeah, you can see the gap there already. That's ready to wiggle jiggle. I've just got to drop the exhaust. And I've got the O2 sensor there. Comes up here. This is its connector. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm struggling with it. I'm pulling the tag down. I don't want to pull on the wires too much. But I need to undo it because the only way I'm going to get the exhaust out enough is to drop it and then just rotate it. And it will come out of the way. Nice. That's the plan anyway. I'll bring you back when I am suck failures successful.
12 seconds later.
And quite literally 12 seconds later, it's undone. It were a right tight bugger that way. It was just awkward. So that's done now. I can undo the exhaust at the back, which is 14 mil, I believe. And guess what? Bloody spanner's not up there. Bloody 14 bloody mil. It's always bloody 14 bloody mil. Your hand, Jim. I think I'm ready to pull this in here. I've managed to pull the exhaust just off a bit, but really, ideally, you need to take the footrests off, and unfortunately, the bracket that has the footrests on also holds the main stand, so that's a no-go, because I don't fancy hoisting the back of the bike up or anything like that. But that should give me enough jigglage-wigglage just to get it out of the way. Nice. Let's try, shall we? Famous last words. There we go. Ooh, that looks alright actually. Yeah, don't look bad. Nice. Nice. Yes. Exhaust is always a different colour to inlet. But yeah, good. Oh, there's the little piston. And I'm glad to say I did get the right kit. There's a convex piston and a flat piston. We are a flat piston. Jimmy has the correct kit. Oh, thank the little baby Jesus in a tuxedo. Right, there's my rag. It's also a good idea. Let this chain dangle down, get a bit of tension on it. We're going to be taking the cylinder head off anyway, so I might end up having to take this side cover off just to make sure that chain is engaged properly on its gear. If it gets too slack, it can jump off to gear. Right, let's carry on then. Do take the bay head gasket off, cause we've got a new one. Yeah, that looks alright. I mean, at a pinch, you could reuse it. Nice. Why do you want to be pinched? Right, the cylinder head I do believe is completely loose, but I am going to have issues with this exhaust in the way, or am I not? Oh, hey, that's going a bit well. I wonder if the cylinder head just needs a little bit of encouragement. Yeah, I think it just needs a little beep from the rear, and we should be alright. Piston looks alright actually. Yeah, don't look too bad. Nice. Jim, what were you doing? I was going to give the cylinder head a little encouragement. Let's see if this does it. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Right, let's just double, triple, quadruple check there's nothing fucking bolting on. Oh, ask me how I know. So I'm keeping tension on the chain. I'm pulling it on its gear. As I'm attempting, I'm going to do this side. Come on. There we go. You just got to unstick it from the base gasket. Chain guide. Yes, I've got to take the chain guide out. Let's just push it back. This will just pull out. That's the lower chain guide. That looks good. Cool. Right. Keeping the tension on chain. Come on, you little fucker. Oh, I've lost my momentum now. Come on. Come on. Come on, Uncle Derek. Oh, that bottom of that piston looks really good. Right, let's just make sure that ain't slipped. No, that's good. Okay, cool. First time I've actually had the cylinder off. There you go. One cylinder. And yeah, just as I thought, that temperature sensor actually just goes into the fins. I was wondering whether it went into one of the oil passages. Two of these are oil passages. The larger ones are oil passages. We've just got to make sure we recover any dowels or anything like that, which there is one there. Yeah, good. Insides look pretty good actually, look pretty clean. Because we follow the creature law of oil. Yes. Brilliant. Well, I'll do a quick clean up round here. And we'll get the other cylinder on. I might have to nick these dowels, these top dowels. So we'll just take a photograph and orientate ourselves with them. Well, I'm quite happy with that. Piston looks good. Yeah, you expect a bit of buggeration on top of the old piston. Let me get you in there. But the rings, skirt and everything look good. They do look really good, and there's a nice amount of oil on the back of the skirt, which is good, because that means the oil scrapers and stuff are doing their job. This carbon, if we were just replacing a cylinder for a normal cylinder, for example, it had cracked or something like that, you can just wire brush this carbon off, take the piston out, and then wire brush it, and it'll clean up, ready to go back on. Rings, they're all good, they're not stuck. Look, see them moving, beautiful. So yeah, I'm happy with that, because I was a little bit initially worried when I did the exhaust valve that maybe, just maybe, a slight kiss on the old piston can bend the rod, but I think we're good, because nobody wants a bent rod. So yeah, I'm still going to clean all these up, because if the experiment doesn't go to plan, then we can always put it back to standard. But so far, quite happy. The fiddly bit is going to be getting the clips and stuff out, the old pistiones.
A few inches later.
I can't get you any closer with the camera, because otherwise you'll be in the way. But the next step is to there's a little clip either side of a gudgeon pin, we call it in this country, but it's a wrist pin, whatever. Little end, and sometimes there can be a little bugger to start to get out. So I'm going to put you down, but you'll be over here, so you won't exactly see what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to get like a little circlippy thing out of there. I might need my little needle nose pliers, and then once that's out, I can push the pin out, and then we can take the pistone off. And then the new kit comes with all new clips and wrist pin and all that lot. So we'll crack on then, shall we? I just hope it's the right kit. I've got this twat of a feeling that I'm going to get the pin out and all this lot, and then like the new pin's going to be too big or something shit like that, because this is how my world goes. Stand by for inaction. Let's make me some room. Lovely. The lion sleeps tonight. Ooh, blimey, Ian. That might actually come out. So. Okay, now I've got no idea where that's just flew off to, but it's out and we don't need it again, so. Oh shit. I saw they do tend to go ping. Right, I'm just going to go around the other side and try and push that pin through. That doesn't say. It'll appear somewhere. It's probably in the bowl actually. Right. Come on. Oh, did it come out? Or did it just make a ping noise? That could actually be it. It might still be in there actually. Oh dear. I'm sure I heard it go ping. Right. Back that I could do with some better light, but I ain't not got it. So why don't you take the studs out? It'd be a lot easier. Yeah, just a little too big at the minute. I think it's out. I do believe it's out. I think so. Let's see. I have got some very thin needle nose pliers, which might just get in here a bit better. Yeah, it is. That is loose. Kazaz just pushed it. Alright. Well, it's going so far. And they're not moving. I don't think the tape would fit or anything. I wonder. Let's get the clip out the other side and see if I can get it out that way. The pin is moving. Another way of doing it is you can ram pliers in and expand them and try and tickle them out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There might be a little ridge to this side of the piston. Something like that, just stopping it coming out. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to bugger off around the other side. Got the Jim, what are you doing? I've definitely got the pin moving. I've got the clip out the other side. That's there. Don't know where the other one's gone. Oh, got a ghost. So let's pop that out. Pop the piston out. Just put it back there. Shit, camera work as usual. Oh, come on. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. That is in real good condition. We're looking for skirt wear, stuff like that, but that is pretty good, and there is oil on it, which is good. Yeah, good. I expected there to be a little roller bearing or something in the end of the con rod, but it looks like it just relies on some oil holes. So there we go. See if we can whip me pin out. There we go. So the pin, just drag my nail along it, just checking for wear. Very slight wear, but there's an oil thing there, so it could even be just dried up shitty oil. But that, I mean, that's reusable, so that's good. And the piston's good. Yeah, really good. Doesn't look like it's ever got too hot or anything like that. Not a bad amount of carbonage. So yeah, quite happy with that. Quite happy. And I think what I'm going to do now, before we progress any further, kids, is I'm going to try and just make sure the new pin fits. Because if it doesn't, everything's going back together again. Yes. Quick wipage of the handage, and we'll give this a wipe round here and what have you. Yeah, that's still got tension on it. It's all good. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with that so far. You can actually see, the oiling holes for the crank and stuff. Look inside my guts. There you go. Cool. And there's your oil holes, and there's no bearing in. Bigger con rods can have bearings, but I did expect one in that, but there is actually no wear on that pin, so the oiling's doing its job. So I'm going to grab the new pin now and have a look. Yes, I'd film this live. Here's the new pin. I've not offered it up to that or anything like that yet. I'm just going to ram it in and see if it fits. Oh, thank the little baby Jesus. Yeah, it's a nice fit actually. Nice. Well, that means, folks, we can go ahead with no barrel and stuff.
One eternity later.
Lovely. Well, here I am. I've just been visiting my sister. Yes. Lovely. Well, here I've got the valve cylinder head here. I put brand new valves when I bent the exhaust valve. I put brand new valves in, and I'm sure the consensus at the time was this is the same cylinder head and all that lot as a Suzuki Shogun, and it is. But since I've done them, the valve lash and everything is all set correctly. They were slightly noisier, slightly more tappier engine, if you know what I mean, when I did them. These are the original valves, and I bent the exhaust valve, but I did watch a thing on YouTube the other day. It was a small Asian gentleman, and he was straightening bent valves in an engine very similar to this, actually. And he was doing it by like turning it, tapping it with an hammer, turning it, tapping it with an hammer, and then eventually it gets flush. But while I've got it in here, I'm just going to recheck the valve clearances, because there's been an issue. Don't happen to me. Lovely. You know, I said at the beginning of this video that it did have the extreme potential to go breasts vertical. Well, it has. All this is fine. All this is fine. All that is fine. Ah, somebody, and they're not too far away, has made a boo-boo. Can you see the difference, boys and girls? Can you? Yes. The cylinder head, even though pictorially, ooh, big word, Jim, looks the same, or it did. It did. It ain't. This is basically a generic big bore kit for the air-cooled Suzukis such as Vans, GNs and all that lot. And I was led to believe down the garden path, having my hand held by the devil, that it was the same cylinder head. It isn't. There are differences. There's an extra, I'm guessing it's an oil passageway, and all that lot. Now the good news is, it is actually a cylinder head for what they call in the home markets a Suzuki Shogun, and there are on the Far Eastern eBays and stuff like that, like their version of AliExpress and all that lot, there are 150 versions of this barrel, so all is not lost, even though I've cocked up spectacularly. But if you've got a van or something like that, you need a 150 kit, I've got one. The other option is to have this bored out to accept the 62mm pistone, because as you can see, I mean, the new piston is the same size as the bore on this, basically, because I think this is, I'm pretty sure 62, don't quote me, and I'm pretty sure the pistone that was there, which I'm going to take in and clean the carbon off and stuff like that, I've got the valve head in there as well. I think that's 52.3, I think. So, yes. So the thing now is, I'm going to have another quick schnufty mufty on the internety web. See if I can get hold of the proper 150 kit of this cylinder design. Which you should have done in the first place, Jim, if it weren't the fact that you're like a spastic magpie with shiny stuff. This is nothing new to regular watchers, let's put it that way. But I am glad that I've stripped it down and we can have a right good look at it and all that lot.
So, you know, I'm quite happy about that I've done it. Quite happy. Because it gives me a chance just to do some maintenance and some checking. So it's all is not lost. But if I can get hold of a 150 barrel, then I will proceed with it. If I can't, or it's going to be a huge ball ache, she'll just go back together again. Because I haven't damaged any gaskets, which is good. Because obviously the new gaskets, even though they look similar, they don't have this oil waste. So yeah, they're not going to work, Jim, because they're not right. It's like giving someone an apple when they've asked for a banana. So yeah, but I'm going to clean the pistons up, make sure the rings are all free, which I think they are. But I want to get that carbon off the top of it, and I've got spare, because the wrist pin is the same size. I can use the clips that come with the kit if I need to. That's no biggie. Because I don't know where one of them's flew off to. It didn't go far, I know that much. One of them's in there for definite. Oh, I think I might have just spotted the other one as well. Yeah, that's good. So all is not lost, but as usual, the climax to this video is an anti-climax, which I'm sure you've all come to expect by now. I thought it was going a little bit too well, but yes, I thought I'd done quite a thorough picture comparison of the cylinder heads and all this lot. Turns out I hadn't. Oh well, shit happens. I would say live and learn. Well, we'll live. But yeah, welcome to my world. So yeah, but I'm not too disheartened, to be quite honest, because I know you can get all sorts of electronical tuning boxes for the fuel oleum injections. You can get different you can get all sorts. It just means that it's got to come sort of direct from the Far East rather from anywhere else. So we'll see. Apparently there's a lot of these type of engines in the Philippines and stuff like that, so I might start looking around there for a young Filipino.